it's like a metric table to look at. For me, the most important that I want to show is the methods and the strategic focus. The methods of competition and the strategic focus. For each of these industrial revolution, the first one happened in England based on invention, trial and error in the labs, happened in the labs. The labs often basement lab in the basement. Why basement is cheaper? So by scientists, he's also the owner of the enterprise. Trial and error, small batch production. He could only produce small quantities only, not many. And based on product differentiation, compared with other products by other scientists, his product is better. So competition is based on product differentiation. And second industrial revolution, who are the key players? That's important as well. Managers. What do you mean by managers? Managers do not own a company. That's what it means. Managers, he's just manager. He's getting salary. Based on innovation. The managers manage the whole thing, the whole human resource, including the engineers that are doing their research. So based on innovation, and happen where? In headquarters. Everything happened at the headquarters. Decisions are made at headquarters. So in Germany, in USA, and based on what? Cost, cheaper cost. Whoever the cost is cheaper, they will win in that competition. Plus product differentiation as well. But here, cost is more important. The third industrial revolution, when the so-called newly industrialized economies, Korea, Taiwan, join. The four tigers. Usually four tigers, Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore. That was the right thing at that time. Whereas Singapore, which is very small manufacturing, Singapore is more of services. Well, for manufacturing, for industry, you could not really learn from Singapore because Singapore is a city-state. Suppose Kuala Lumpur is a rich country if Kuala Lumpur is a country. A city-state, but you can learn something as well from Singapore. But if you want to learn really, you cannot. It is city-state. It's not the same experience of a country, big country. It's city-state. Of course, I'm not saying you cannot learn anything. You can learn a lot. So, happened in Japan and East Asian needs. Okay? When we talk about East Asian needs, Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, plus next coming, there's the Asian countries follow, plus the Southeast Asia, Japan, four tigers plus ASEAN countries, emerging countries of ASEAN, Malaysia, Thailand, notably at that time. And then the fourth industrial revolution, I give it 2 times, the prelude to the fourth, the beginning, the prelude to the fourth. There was happened where? In USA. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah. That's today, yesterday, the news about this. لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة this FTX is similar to what happened with the Lehman Brothers. Banking industry collapsed. This commercial banking because of the collapse of the housing prices. 2006, and that led to 2007, 2008, global economic crisis in 2008. That began with a so-called subprime crisis in the United States. So is this something similar? We're watching. Because cryptocurrency, you know, the values goes up, but where is the thing, the real thing? So interesting to read, okay? So let's go back to our lecture. Happened in the USA. The prelude to this, the ingredients for current fourth industrial revolution happened in the United States, and the key man was Bill Gates and other, also the Apple founder and all those people. So digital, ICT, mid-80s, PC, especially 1994, 95, WW and the internet, everything. So happened where? Computer labs plus HQ, and happened in computer labs plus the region, I should add, the region, Silicon Valley, one region, cluster together, companies cluster together in one place because of spillover, the same human resource, the same type of needs. That's why the interactions as well. So computer labs and HQ, all in one area, Silicon Valley, for example. A strategy of bundling, differentiation, product and services, and network effects. With the network effects that we're going to study. The more people buy A, the more people buy B. A. The more people buy A, the more people buy A. The more people buy A, and less people buy B. B will lose. Network effect. So, mega trends, innovation, differentiated products and features and services. Who are the people? Programmers. Turn E and entrepreneur. Who? Bill Gates. All these people, Mark Zuckerberg, they all coding, you know, programmers. Bill Gates dropped out from Harvard University. He liked to do this thing and then expanded into a business. So they know how to do programming, right? And coding. Today we call it coding. Of course, programming and coding are not the same. So, and the fourth, now, 2016 onward, machine learning, deep learning, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented, and all this quantum computing, big data, smart factory, smart cities, smart everything smart. Who are coders and developers, complex and network system, cluster. Oh, I forgot this one. I left out. Complex and network system, cluster disruptions, consumer-defined features, happen in where? USA, and also increasingly in China, Europe, India, but so happen in where? High-tech R&D, incubation, high-tech parts, cluster. Now, cluster. But the cluster is now not just one cluster. Silicon Valley is going down. Companies going away to other states like Texas. So new cluster there, forming there. So now we're in the fourth industrial revolution. Seamless connection between the real and unreal. You know, the real here, the real. The unreal is that, in the, cyberspace. Yes, cyberspace. That's why we can have a video call, we can have online classes. That speed up. What is revolution? Impact, big impact. And will speed up things, will change the way people live, will change the way products are manufactured, will change the way products are sold, will change the way services are given. Already, people don't get married, they get married to certain things. Because of this cyberspace. And strange things can happen. Because of this cyber space, network, international, the fourth industrial revolution will change the way people live, will change the way government governs, will change almost everything, except one thing. What is it? Nobody can avoid death. When the time comes, no matter what, you have whatever technology, the best medicine in the world, no. Yeah, I left out this one because what happened? Because maybe the azan. Yeah. And one more here. So during the third industrial revolution, we saw Japan came out first as the first one, followed by Korea and Taiwan. Reverse engineering and imitation. Reverse engineering. What is reverse engineering? Oh, like this. The engine is like this. They take out the screw one by one. Take out or try to put back again. Reverse engineering. Do you follow me? Disassemble everything. Oh, back. Assemble again. So, learning by doing. Reverse engineering. Learning by doing. So they're doing it, okay, like this, the engine like this, or the TV like this, or take out, or electronics like this. Reverse engineering and learning by doing. Yeah. So mass production. Well, before that, small batch. Mass production. And price only. And here, important I want to are left out. Where is the strategic location? On the shop floor. Shop. Shop is the language, American language. Shop doesn't mean shop. Store doesn't mean store. That's why, where are you going? I'm going to a grocery store. Are you going to store to pick up things? Are you going to a storage? No, I'm going to a grocery store. I'm going to a grocery shop. That's American language. Store, shop. Floor, floor. It means the factory floor. Shop floor, yes. Shop floor doesn't mean the floor of the shop. Floor here, shop here, factory. So that's our language, okay? Where are you going? I'm going to a gas station. Oh, you're going to put gas in your car? No, I'm going to put gasoline. Here, Malaysia, petrol. Where are you going? I'm going to a petrol station. In America, I'm going to stop for gas. You mean, hey, your car using gas? No, my car use petrol. But the American will say gasoline, gas station. I'm going to a department store. What? In Malaysia, what? Japanese store? Huh? Japanese department store, mall. Huh? Give me names. Huh? Huh? Aeon, yeah, Aeon. It's a department store. It's a department store. It's not store. In Malaysia, people will think store. Store. You know store, what is store? There's a store, you store things. Storage, store. No, I'm going to store. So here, shop floor. The factory floor. That's where the strategic location. Shop floor. The shop floor is not the floor of the shop. Shop here is not shop. Factory. That's why workshop. Where are you going? I'm going to a workshop. But today, workshop is everything. I'm having a workshop today. You mean you're working on how to nail, how to cut machine? Workshop? No, I'm having a workshop how to make Excel, how to learn to use Excel. Workshop also. So funny things, language today, right? I'm having a workshop. What workshop? Writing workshop. Oh, I thought you having a workshop like how to cut machine, how to make. Shop is factory. Factory floor. But this is the way written in the book. The strategic location is shop floor, which is the floor of the factory, where the Japanese, the Koreans will do what? Reverse engineering. Will do the imitation. Or like this. In the factory. That's why the name shop floor. That's the strategic location, not a headquarters. That's the most important place for the Koreans. What makes the Korean today can produce cars, can produce TV, whatever, electronics. Shop floor. Happen there. Through what? Reverse engineering and learning by doing. Happen at the shop floor. Happen at the floor of the factories. Of course, research. They do the research. So, and continue. What time is it now? Okay. Here, the fourth industrial revolution, if you look at comparatively the economy of the UK was a superpower before the end of World War, economically as well. And then USA became superpower, the economy as well. But the USA was going down economically. Superpower, yes, still military. But economically, USA was going down. Because Japanese, coming products. Most of the products made by Japan, made by Asian countries. That's why the so-called the Asian Century was a book. 2000 was Asian Century. Is it really? Talking about the success of Asian countries, of Japan, Korea, became successful producers of many things. So economically, USA was going down in terms of export. But who arrested USA from going down? Who stopped USA from going down? Bill Gates. Bill Gates. Because all the computers, Microsoft, all the computers almost in the world, right? Microsoft inside, Microsoft. So Bill Gates actually the man who stopped USA from declining in terms of the economy. Who said that? I say. Okay. So next. So expansion of industry pattern. So before, it's clear specialization between industrial economies and developing economies. Manufacturing, the division of labor clear. Remember the division of labor, the first one? Rich country, industrial countries, manufacturing. Poor country, developing countries are commodities and agriculture. But now, one way, trade manufacture one way at that time, one way. And I explained that. Economies export, they bring export commodities, one way. Then, but now, there's blurring of specialization between industrial economies and developing economies. Because developing economies also produce manufactured goods. And trade in manufactured goods are two ways now, and indeed multiple ways and multiple stages. Multiple stages as well. This product, finished product computers, some components are made in Vietnam, some components are made in China, but finished in China and exported to USA. Some components come from Malaysia as well, semiconductor. So stages, many stages. And role of FDIs as complementary to industrial development and international trade. Yeah, complement. More trade, more FDIs. More FDI, more trade. More industrial development, more FDIs, of course. And more trade as well. Because components and... So, after end of World War II, international trade expanded faster than did world output. 70s and 80s, export increased by 9 times, output increased by 5 times only. What I'm saying is that trade expanded more than output. Trade, import-export grew faster at higher rate than output, world output. Economic growth, Economic growth compared with trade, growth of trade expanded even more. So this trend indicates that expansion and importance of international trade, and the world has become more integrated, interdependent on each other. What are the factors? Number one, post-World II reconstruction and development. During the war, many infrastructure damage. So after the war, they need to build. To build again, so developing countries must import the machinery, even lorries, even trucks, anything from developed industrial countries. Because developing countries do not have the knowledge, the know-how, how to produce even a truck, how to even produce a car or lorry for reconstruction again. The bridges, damaged by the war. Roads damaged by the war now need reconstruction and to redevelop. So in order to buy lorries, big machine from industrial countries, they have to sell, export commodities, export agriculture to buy. So that's why trade became very rapid. So, and Bretton Woods, fixed exchange rate, that happened in Bretton Woods. Before the war ended, 1945, okay? Before 1945, the rich, influential industrial countries at that time already anticipated they win the war. So they met in Bretton Woods in New Hampshire, United States, to formulate, to plan for what type of financial architecture will govern, international financial structure after the war. So they met. The representative from UK was Keynes. We study Keynesian economics. So what came out from Bretton Woods was two entities, IMF and IBRD, which is now World Bank. International Monetary Fund and International Bank, IB, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Reconstruct after the war and development after the war. So IBRD, IMF and IBRD, that IBRD now is World Bank. In fact, IBRD is still existing now until today, a small section within World Bank. So as a result, we can say what came out from Bretton Woods was IMF, that governs the international monetary part, and World Bank, that gives loan for development. So IMF will tackle the issue of short-term stability to avoid inflation, to cover insufficient reserve, and also to deal with deficit in a country. So IMF will give you loan if you don't have reserve. Current account, I'm talking about. This is the current account balance. So IMF give the short-term loans to solve problems, short-term problems. World Bank, long-term, give loans for long-term projects to build hospitals, to build dams, for electricity, for roads, infrastructure, school, for example, to build school, which the result is not tomorrow. You build school, the result, 15, 20 years later. But IMF is short-term to cater for instability of the country, economic instability because of short-term shortage in current account balance or imbalance. So you have to get a loan from IMF. But for development, long-term, World Bank will do it. So the two institutions from IMF, but in terms of the monetary system at the time, this is under IMF, okay? Fixed exchange rate. Fixed exchange rate. And that really helped a lot for international trade because no more uncertainty. I'm not saying no more uncertainty. There's no uncertainty because exchange rate is fixed. You sell for $50, now it's not fixed. So that happened. That continued until 1973. Fixed exchange rate, no more. That system, but that really helped. What happened? In 1971, President Nixon, United States, President Nixon is already talking about we must back out from this system. The system using dollar, US dollar as a as main reserve currency. What is main reserve currency? All the countries will put into their central bank reserve in dollar. Dollar was the main currency for that reserve. What reserve? Central bank reserve. Why do you have to have reserve? To pay for imports. To pay for to pay for, what do you call this? Liabilities that a country has. What is liabilities? When you import, you accrue liabilities. You have to pay. So fixed at USD 35 for each ounce of real gold. That was the system. It means that, and then fix other currencies in dollar terms. And this all helped to stabilize exchange rate and rapid growth in international trade as a result, because I fixed. But ended with Nixon saying in 1971, the USA with trade and fiscal deficit at that time, the twin deficit, huge deficit in trade and so, could no longer back up with gold, because every $35 of deficit, trade deficit by America, it means an ounce of gold must be ready and available in case other country demand. Give back my money, give back my money. You owe me. Every 35 is equivalent, or was equivalent to 1 ounce of real gold. Nixon said, we have so huge trade deficit, we can no longer back up all those deficit with gold. That was 1971. And finally, happened together with the oil shock. Yeah, I didn't mention to you. 1973 was first oil shock. What is oil shock? Prices of oil went up suddenly, big and huge. That was, it's got to do with the war in the Middle East between the Zionists and the Palestine. So the war, and the Arabs, all the Arabs, Egypt, the Arabs and the Zionists. So the war, as a result, price of oil. So the first oil shock, 1973. Second oil shock, 1979. What happened? That really, inflation went up, cost of production went up, because industrial countries like America depended on oil for production. So, by 1973, no more, finished. Completely finished, no more. Fixed exchange rate system, Bretton Woods. But Bretton Woods institution until today exists. World Bank, IMF, until today. So do not misunderstand that no more Bretton Woods institution. No. IMF, World Bank still today, but the fixed exchange rate system of Bretton Woods finished. Do you understand now? So now managed floating, whatever system today. So the first reduction of trade barriers, what time is it now? 15. Oh, that one correct. This because of the multilateral negotiation of GATT to reduce tariff. So after the end of the war, 1945, the world was looking for a mechanism how to liberalize, to reduce tariffs, to knock off quotas, to take out the barriers to trade. to dismantle barriers to trade. So it was proposed ITO. No. What was proposed? ITO, International Trade Organization, ITO, but it was not ratified by America. So ITO, International Trade Organization, never materialized. So there was an agreement already existing by de facto. GATT became the mechanism to cut tariffs. So general agreement on tariffs and trade to negotiate among countries. Many countries, that's what we call multilateral, many countries, to reduce barriers to trade, to reduce tariff. By rules, all the quotas must be abolished, change those quotas into tariff, and tariffs will be negotiated to go down. So various rounds of GATT give pressure on countries to reduce tariffs. As a result, these are the reason why rapid growth in world trade. And there's a connection. Trade engine as engine of economic growth. Very strong trade, economy will be strong. I mean the growth rates. So why? All this. Second, fixed exchange rate up to 73 only, and reduction in trade barriers. So now coming. 73, OPEC oil shock, inflation, increased inflation, reduced imports by developing economies, industrial economies in recession, and 4%, minus 4% economy. Rate of world trade, minus 4% as well. Second, oil shock. And 1997-98 East Asian financial crisis that happened with the collapse of the fall of the value of Thai baht, and that was contagious, contagious to other currencies, Malaysian currency, Singaporean currency, Indonesian currency, Hong Kong currency, Philippine currency. But the four countries affected mainly: Thailand, Indonesia, Korea, and Malaysia. Thailand, Indonesia, Korea went to the IMF to borrow. We call it bailout. Bailout by IMF with strings attached. Nobody will give you money even to borrow, right? Borrow, this is borrowing, not giving money, free money. But people give you, borrow money, strings attached. Must do this, do this, do this. Do what? Neoliberal policy. Liberalize your economy. Reform your banking system. Reform your financial sector. Reform all this, your industries. And people donated, even gold. The Korean people call it the IMF crisis. Donated gold to help the country, very patriotic. So many consequences for the restructuring. Hyundai bought Kia. Banking sector, other banks are closed down, taken over by other banks. Daewoo get out from Daewoo certain business. I don't know. I don't remember. So meaning that there are casualties. What I want to say? Casualties with the restructuring. So except Malaysia, Dr. Mahathir, Prime Minister at that time, he did his Frank Sinatra way. There's a song by Frank Sinatra, I do it my way. I do it my way. So Dr. Mahathir did his way by using capital control and pegging ringgit, 3 ringgit 80 cents for $1. For 2 years, ringgit was pegged. And capital control, capital that came into Malaysia, yes, can come, but could not go out. Could not go out. So capital control, because Dr. Mahathir, he blamed on George Soros. All these things, he said, blame on George Soros, attacking Asian currencies by bringing hot money and suddenly bringing out hot money from these countries, and the value of currency fell down. And when value of currency, the central bank could only defend only so much. How central bank defended currency? By buying currency, buying ringgit, using reserve. You buy ringgit to create demand for ringgit so that the ringgit will not fall. Buy ringgit, bank negara buy ringgit by selling dollar, the reserve. So you can do so much. You don't want to finish all your reserve. That's why you need the bailout. But Malaysia did capital control. So we have to stop all this negative to the biggest impact was electronic products. And I think we're going to end, this is the last, and subprime, the last slide. Global economic crisis 2008-2009 that began with subprime crisis in the US 2006 and 7. So please, so many students, my students are confused. They say 2008 that was subprime. No, 2008 was the global recession because of subprime that happened earlier, 2006. Spread at the time subprime, anyone that went to the bank get a loan. The banks were greedy because housing prices were rosy. But suddenly, commercial bank like Lehman Brothers bought these mortgage papers, packaged that again into a mortgage-backed security and floated that on the stock market. The peak of the crisis was Lehman Brothers went bankrupt, and a country, Iceland, became bankrupt because this country, Iceland, the EPPE, bought these mortgage-backed securities, and suddenly housing prices fell down, and that paper security no more value. So that crisis, housing crisis, spread to banking crisis, spread to crisis on the Wall Street. Let me finish this. Spread, contagious, from housing crisis to banking crisis to crisis on the Wall Street to crisis on real economy. Toyota, the first time ever, lost 2009. And that saw also government of Japan change from LDP to JDP. No, not GDP. Just short time, and then now LDP again. All because of global economic crisis. And then all developed countries negative 2009, as Korea and so on. And then world trade volume suffer. So you can, and a fiscal crisis 2010-11, Greece began with fiscal crisis in Greece, spread to, so that was European crisis. European crisis in 2010s, and then 2016 commodities prices of commodities in crisis. So developing countries suffer, and COVID-19. And before that, there's a shortage of food. There was a 2000 something, and then COVID, Ukraine war, and finished. Okay, thank you. So bear with me when I say